That's not a knife. Yeah, I'm sure no one's ever made that joke before. Welcome back to the channel. My name's TGD. I don't have an intro to my channel. Maybe I should make one. I always think those are annoying anyway, but welcome back to another knife video. This is just slowly becoming a knife channel, which I'm fine with. I've always been a gear enthusiast, a knife enthusiast. So I was looking on YouTube, looking at knife videos, and someone left a comment on some video about the Espada XL versus the Rajah 2 when it comes to Woodland's defense. He said he got surrounded by a pack of coyotes, and that was sort of a wake-up call, like, oh my gosh, this is something that could happen. Now, when you look at these things, and a lot of people go, what's the matter with you? Why would you carry something like that? The only reason you carry that because you have a small pee-pee and you're compensating for something. Whatever. So I want to talk about a little bit about these, not for defense against humans, but more for wilderness defense, because I'm someone that likes to go hiking. I like to go on walks out in the woods. And where I live, the biggest threats out in the woods is probably going to be coyotes. We do have mountain lions and black bears. And to tell you the truth, the best defensive weapon to go into the woods is a shotgun. Of course, this is chambers empty, unloaded. We care about safety. Safety is number one priority. But a shotgun loaded with buckshot or slugs is probably your best bet. Now, that's if you're on your own property or on some place that you know you can carry around a shotgun slung around your back or something. If you're going and hiking the Appalachian Trail, that's probably not an option. So second would be a handgun. Now this is, of course, unloaded as well, no magazine. This is my everyday carry. But I understand also that there are some limitations there as well. It's a bit, if I were to just say, for self-defense, carry a gun, leave the knife at home. Carry carry an Opinel, and then carry a gun for self-defense. That's kind of like very American of me. I realize that not everyone in the world is afforded the same rights that I have. So, even in America, if you do something bad when you're like 18 years old, you could be 40 years old and you still can't get your hands on a gun. So, not everyone has access to a gun. And also, that's something you have to think about when you're out on the trail as well. A lot of them have big things right in front with all the park rules. If you're out hiking in some state park or national park or something, big sign that says no firearms. So, whether or not you want to follow that, if you think you'll get caught concealing something, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not a cop. So there's a lot of people whose options might be limited to a knife. And they don't have the opportunity or the privilege to carry around a firearm on them. So that's when we get to our topic of the day. The Espada versus the Rajah 2. So the question we have to ask is, why are we carrying a pocket knife instead of like a fixed blade into the woods? The truth is, if you have to fight a wild animal, it's not always going to be in the woods. There's this video of this guy getting attacked by a wild boar at a gas station inside of a city. So that's something that could happen. And even then, when you're at a gas station, it might not be a good idea to deploy your pistol, in all honesty, if you're under attack. So the reason that we're carrying a pocket knife, really, and not just carrying something like this, which is, of course, my Bowie knife, which, in all honesty, this is probably the superior option in a lot of ways. It's going to be faster to deploy. It's going to have better structural integrity, better like grip mechanics. since you don't need a recess in here to grip the blade. A fixed blade might be superior in that respect. It might be superior to carry this, but it is a little bit conspicuous walking around town with a Bowie knife around your belt or hanging off your belt. And I've been stopped by the cops multiple times for carrying a knife. Of course, I was never doing anything illegal. They just saw I had a knife and wanted to stop me. And I wasn't doing anything wrong, so they couldn't do anything. But it does sort of draw attention to yourself if you're walking around with a Bowie knife at your hip. Or if you're carrying like this gladius machete, if you're carrying that around, that'll draw some eyes to you as well. So we care about concealability. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves. As far as effectiveness goes, Cold Steel makes videos about this. There's videos of on the Rajah too, and on the Espada. I don't need to do that. There's plenty of people like shooting at this with an AK-47 to do durability tests and stuff. I don't have to do that. There's plenty of videos out doing that, of what they can do and how effective they are. So I don't even want to really talk about that. I'll talk about it for a second, actually. As far as I'm concerned, if you're defending yourself, you're going to be stabbing. If a mountain lion jumps on top of you, you're going to be doing this to get it off of you. Right? You're probably not going to have to do like Tai Chi with your Espada. So the blade profile, this is obviously going to be making a bigger wound channel, and you can draw more if you have to. So overall cutting power does go to the Espada. That's not to say that the Rajah is bad at it. If you look at that, that's actually super duper pointy. It's really pointy. And I've seen, there's tests of people with kukris, like legit kukris that are like the ones I've showed you before, that are thick and have a wider tip than this, and they stab into stuff just fine. So this is not going to make as big of a wound channel, but it's going to be big enough, in my opinion. Now, as far as carryability, how these things feel in your pocket, I decided when I saw that comment earlier before I went to work, and I decided to carry this around at work. Now, something that surprised me, actually, is how little I noticed that it was there. What was noticeable is how unnoticeable it was in my pocket. Now, I'm going to try to show you a little bit. This, when it's on the clip like this, if we're talking about concealability, this, I mean, it's obviously printing. It sticks right out. This is actually really flat against my leg, and the way this sweeps like this, I actually have a lot of, dexterity in my leg, and it doesn't cause a whole lot of disturbance. If you care about concealing this, if you let it hang in your pocket a little bit, I guess that's hidden a little bit more. On my pocket, I can kind of tuck it up into the pocket, and now it's fully concealed. You can't really tell that it's there unless you're really looking. This does affect deployability. That does make it slower than if I were to go from the clip. To compare, the Rajah does not print as much. And you actually can't see any of the blade. The blade doesn't stick out at all. So it's not, I mean, you can see that it's there, but it's not as conspicuous. You're not going to be drawing eyes to yourself, especially like if you wear a shirt like me. Kind of just have the clip there. Now, I've mentioned before, this is very deployable. And if you just have it all the way down in your pocket, it completely disappears. That does cause issues, obviously. You have to stick your hand in all the way in your pocket to get it out. I watched a video by this guy named Totes Malotes. Maybe I'll leave the link to his video, and he talks about the carryability and concealability of these. I thought it was a good video, so I would suggest you go check it out. If you care about that concealability part, the Rajah 2 does take it a little bit better, but both of them are more concealable than a Bowie knife hanging out of your off your belt. Now, I care about concealability a little bit more because I try to stay situationally aware. I'm looking at people's pockets, seeing if there's what's in their pockets, looking at their waistband, looking at what kind of clothes they're wearing, just to stay situationally aware. I'm not ever intimidated by a guy wearing skinny jeans because he can't hide anything dangerous in his skinny jeans. Something that I want to point out, if you're pulling this out of your pocket, this is the grip you have on the Rajah 2. Now, if something's on top of you and your only option is really to just go like this is shorter. So you have a bit more maneuverability with this than the Espada. When you pull the Espada out of your pocket, this is where you're gripping it, right down here. If something's on top of you, now for me, I can't really get my shoulder back farther than this. Or if I'm like down, I guess, and I have to stab it. Just stuff to think about. Now, one last thing, I've showed you this knife before, just as a alternative, I guess you could say, is this Kershaw boot knife. Now this is like a 4-inch blade, I think. Yeah, it's got to be 4 inches. And when we're talking about self-defense, they always say, our goal is not necessarily to win a death match. It's to make a break in contact. With a wild animal, that might mean a death match. But let me show you. This is very fast. If something's on top of me and attacking me, I can stab the thing 20 times with this thing. How will this thing hold up to a black bear? I don't think. You might be in a bad situation if you're against a black bear, or maybe even a wild boar. I'm not sure what that would be like. I might want to have something heavier. But if I'm against coyotes or maybe a mountain lion at the biggest, I think this will definitely get the job done. And I hang this on my adventuring pack I've showed you before. I've got zip ties that I zip tied this together, got it on a carabiner, and I hang that right on my backpack. So this is very fast and ready to go if I need it. Now for me, I just carry the Rajah 2 because the Espada is a little too big. As far as weight goes, the Espada is obviously heavier. There's more material. And I carry 4 pounds of gear hanging off my belt every day. So weight's not really a concern for me. My choice is the Rajah 2. Now, the regular Espada large and not the XL might be a bit more maneuverable, right? And these are legit. You know, you're living a privileged life if you're legitimately living a privileged life if you could never imagine a reason why you would need a knife like this. You're living a cushy life. Now, of course, I never have had to actually engage an animal, or an animal's never engaged me. I know people who have. Maybe if you have, leave a comment, tell me what it was like, tell me what it was all about, how you handled it, what it was like, what you learned from it. And I'm not going to decide a winner against the two. I just prefer the Rajah 2 for It's a little bit more maneuverable for me. This is a little bit too big for me. And I also mentioned in the past, I'm not really a fan of the clip point. Now, I have the Espada XL because you need it. You need this. You need a pocket sword. But the pocket kukri is definitely more of a reasonable thing for me. I've mentioned before, I'm not really like I'm a little under 6 foot. I'm an inch under 6 foot, so not super big guy. If you're a super big guy, maybe this is something reasonable for you. It's a little unreasonable for me. Plus the printing, it will be tough when I'm at work. Carrying this around with my boss around might not go well. Whereas this, I've never been questioned once with this because it fits in my pockets so well. So that's all I have to say about that. Just wanted to make a little video talking about that. Subscribe. Maybe I'll make more videos on knives. I mean, honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with the knife videos because I like knives. I've liked knives for a very long time. So leave a like. Get me into the algorithm. Leave a comment. I'll like and heart your comment. Get me into the algorithm, guys. It's up to you. Yeah, I'm not putting that on you, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Have a fun day, and I don't know what I'm trying to say. I need to formulate an extro and an intro someday probably.